You're about to watch someone lose 3 weekends and about $400 so you don't have to. I built the same product, a functional SaaS landing page with a working waitlist backend, Stripe integration, and an admin dashboard, 3 times. Once with Cursor, once with Claude Code, once with GitHub Copilot. Same spec, same complexity. I track time, cost, frustration, and the actual quality of output. And I'm going to tell you exactly which one wins for solo founders, which one is a trap, and which one I uninstalled by Sunday afternoon. Welcome back to Venture Void. If you're building something alone, no team, no CTO, maybe limited coding experience, the AI coding tool you choose is not a minor decision. It is the difference between shipping in a weekend and spending 6 weeks debugging spaghetti code you don't understand. Let's get into it. Here's the real problem nobody talks about. Most comparisons of these tools are done by senior engineers who can catch when the AI makes a mistake. They know when the generated code is subtly wrong. They know when the architecture is going to collapse in 3 months. You, as a solo founder, probably don't have that safety net. So when someone says Copilot is great, what they mean is Copilot is great if you already know enough to verify what it's doing. That is a completely different product than what a non-technical or semi-technical founder actually needs. And the pricing models, the workflows, the failure modes, they're all different. Let me break down what I actually experienced. I started with GitHub Copilot because it's the most well-known. $10 a month, built into VS Code, very low friction to start. I gave it the same brief I gave the others. Build me a Next.js app with a landing page, an email waitlist that stores to a Supabase database, Stripe checkout for a founding member tier at $47, and an admin route that shows me all signups. Copilot's autocomplete is genuinely impressive for filling in code you've already started. If you write the first line of a function, it often finishes it correctly. But here's the problem for solo founders. It's reactive, not generative. It waits for you to lead. It doesn't architect. It doesn't plan. It doesn't say, hey, you should structure this differently. It just fills in blanks. So I spent about 11 hours across 2 days, constantly switching between asking it questions in the chat panel, getting incomplete answers, manually stitching pieces together, and Googling the parts it couldn't handle. The Stripe webhook implementation it gave me was missing the signature verification step, which means any bad actor could have spoofed payment confirmations. I only caught that because I've been burned before. A first-time builder would have shipped that vulnerability and never known. Total cost for the weekend, $10 plus about 11 hours. But if I'm valuing my time at even $50 an hour, that's $550 in real cost for a product that needed another day of debugging before I'd trust it in production. Then I moved to Cursor. This is where things got interesting. Cursor costs $20 a month on the Pro plan, and it runs on top of your existing code editor with a much more conversational, context-aware interface. The killer feature is that it can read your entire code base and understand relationships between files. I pasted my full project spec into the chat, and instead of starting to write code immediately, it essentially proposed an architecture. It told me it would create a specific folder structure, explained why it was separating the API routes the way it was, and asked me to confirm before proceeding. That single behavior, planning before generating, saved me hours. The Stripe integration it produced was complete, including webhook signature verification, error handling, and a fallback UI state for failed payments. The Supabase connection used environment variables correctly, included a database schema file I could run directly, and the admin dashboard had basic auth protecting it. After roughly 6.5 hours across one day, I had something I would actually consider deploying to real users. The code wasn't perfect. I made an assumption about my Supabase table structure that I had to correct, but the error was findable and fixable in about 15 minutes. Total cost, $20, so real-world time cost at $50 an hour, $345, dramatically better than Copilot. Then I tried Claude Code, which is the newest of the 3 and the most aggressive in terms of what it attempts. Claude Code is a terminal-based agent from Anthropic. It doesn't live inside your editor, it runs in your command line, and it has the ability to actually execute commands, create files, install dependencies, and run your code, not just write it. Pricing is usage-based through the API. For my project, I spent about $22 over the weekend, though I was deliberately iterating and pushing it hard. Lighter usage would probably run $12 to $15 for a similar scope of work. The experience is genuinely different from the other 2. I described the project in plain English, confirmed the first few steps, and it started working almost like a junior developer. It scaffolded the Next.js project, installed packages, wrote the environment, variable structure, built the components, and then ran the dev server to check for errors. When it hit an error, it read the error message and attempted to fix it autonomously. This loop, build, run, catch error, fix, repeat, is something neither Copilot nor Cursor do natively. It got me to a working local version in about 4 hours. But here's where it gets complicated, and I'll get to that in a second. What these tools are replacing is worth naming clearly because the dollar figures matter for solo founders making budget decisions. A freelance developer to build what I described, landing page, waitlist, Stripe, admin dashboard, would cost between $2,000 and $4,000 on the low end, and that's before revisions. A no-code tool like Webflow plus MemberStack plus Zapier could get you close, but you'd pay roughly $80 to $150 per month in combined subscriptions and hit capability ceilings the moment your requirements got slightly non-standard. What these AI coding tools offer is actual, owned, customizable code for under $25 and a weekend. That is a real and meaningful shift for solo founders. Now the catch, and there are real ones for each tool. Copilot's catch is that it's a productivity tool, not a builder tool. It makes experienced developers faster. It makes inexperienced developers confidently wrong. If you don't have baseline coding knowledge, you will ship bugs you cannot see, and you will not understand the code you're responsible for. Cursor's catch is that it is excellent inside its context window, but when your project grows large and complex, it can start to lose coherence, suggesting solutions in one file that contradict what it did in another. It's manageable, but you need to stay in the driver's seat and review across files regularly as the project scales. Claude Code's catch is the biggest one, and I want to be honest about it, because it operates autonomously, writing, executing, and modifying files in your environment. It can make architectural decisions quickly that are hard to undo. Twice during my build, it refactored something I hadn't asked it to refactor, creating technical debt I had to untangle later. It also does not have a visual editor, which means if you are not comfortable in a terminal, the learning curve is real. The autonomy is powerful. The autonomy is also the risk. So here's my actual ranking for a solo founder or small business owner building a real product. If you have some coding familiarity, Cursor is your tool. Best balance of guidance, context awareness, code quality, and cost. $20 a month is trivially cheap if it compresses a week of work into a day. If you're technical and comfortable in the terminal and want the fastest path from idea to working code for a well-defined project, Claude Code is extraordinary. Budget around $15 to $25 per project, not per month, and treat it like an autonomous junior dev you need to supervise closely. If you're already a developer looking for autocomplete inside an existing workflow, Copilot is fine. But if you're trying to build something from scratch as a non-technical founder, it will waste your time and give you false confidence, which is worse than no confidence. The tools exist. The question is whether you're going to use them strategically or just throw prompts at them and hope. The founders who win with AI coding tools aren't the ones using the best tool. They're the ones who understand what each tool actually is, what it needs from them, and where its judgment stops and their judgment has to start. If that kind of breakdown is useful to you, real usage, real numbers, no fluff, subscribe to Venture Void. We do this for every category that matters to solo founders. Drop in the comments which tool you've tried or what you want us to build next. See you in the next one.